Hey Marcel, okay, we're going to get to action now. Nothing too strenuous, we're not jumping, doing anything like that. We're just looking at functional exercise that we can incorporate every day.
Great,
Alrighty?
Sounds really good.
So I'm going to start off with something really basic that we all think we know how to do, and that would be walking.
Okay.
I know we've done it all our lives, but so many times, I'm going to give you an example. You know, I go walking every morning.
Yes.
And I make eye contact with people and I generally say hello. But a lot of people are walking the other way like this. And that's their exercise. So when we walk, we're actually really, these things here act like pumps to get the blood supply to our heart. And when we have our chest open, that allows us to get a full intake of breath and expel toxins as well, and also our posture. And as people get older, they worry about balance and fall. So if we can learn to use our feet to get the messages back up to our brain, it stops us looking down all the time. All right, so let's come over here.
Let's do it.
Alrighty, so we want to look straight ahead, so you want to know where you're going. All right, that seems pretty obvious. All right, know where we're going. Now imagine you've got a $100 note stuck in your back, so you're not sort of pushing your chest out. I don't have one to push out, but that's beside the point. All right, so hold your shoulders back, looking upward. Feel your tummy tuck, so you've got it, you're not sort of accentuate, but you don't want your butt sticking out. Feel that all lifting, and imagine you've got a string going up through your head, and that's holding you tall. And take a big stride out. We'll just sort of walk up a little bit and turn around. Okay, let's go. And turn, and back again. Beautiful. Now you look at your posture. I'm just going to get you to go through again. And see Marcel's posture is nice and erect, the head's in a line. Now if she's having a decent stride, which is actually walking, we've only got a small area here, then it would be different. But what we want to do is make sure we've got a natural hip alignment and working. And so you can take that full breath in. So that's the basics. Now, when you're out there walking, and you only really have to walk for maybe 20, 30 minutes. A lot of people walk for maybe an hour and a half, and they go, well, I'm not getting any results. So what we need to learn to do is actually walk with purpose. So that's, you know, using the arms and encouraging go up hills, maybe even push even harder, you know, maybe even a bit of a skip in your step, you know, for a little bit. But the most important thing is walk with purpose, and then to add more bang to your buck, you can actually do some lunges. Now, we know you've been going to the gym, so I reckon you'll be an expert at doing a lunge. You okay with the lunge? Alrighty. Okay. Actually, what I'm going to get you to do is stand over this way. So the most important thing for a lunge is actually taking a big step out. So that allows you full weight on your heel, and the back foot, you want it parallel with your leg. So when you're going down, it's actually a drop down. A lot of people make the mistake of sort of going forward, and that will actually get your knee over your toe, which can cause problems for your knee, and that's where a lot of people have troubles with, you know, hip problems when they start exercising. So alignment is so important. It's not about doing the most of an exercise. It's actually better to do less, but make sure you're doing it really well. So big step out, each leg, okay? All right, and straight down, excellent, okay. Okay, now take another big step out. Beautiful, great technique. Now you'll see, I'm going to get Marcel to stay there for a bit, but you see right angle, and the knee is well below, back behind the toe. This is that right angle here as well, and you can almost touch the ground. Okay, you can come up, Marcel, before the legs start to shake. That's just cruel. Now, we've got options. Turn around, Marcel, okay. You've got options. If you've got space, you could do maybe 20 lunges. You could just go doing one after the other, or if you haven't got much space, what you can do is take a big step out, go down, and push back, and then do the other leg. So there's no excuse about not enough space. I've heard all the excuses. All right.
I used to feel those, yes.
So let's do that. Let's just do as if we've only got a limited amount of space, and straight down. Beautiful. Bend that back leg. Oh, we've got a bit of an injury on that one, so we'll take it slow. All right, down you go. Beautiful. Now what I love, I'll get you to come back up, so I won't hold you down there. Try the other one again. Okay, when you go down, her back's nice and straight, and you'll see Marcel's looking straight ahead, which is fantastic. Come back up. Now what this exercise is doing is really working this muscle here. And when you kick off, you're actually pushing, and you're working the back part of your butt as well. Now when women start this, if they're carrying a bit of weight here, it can be really fearful, because they'll start actually building muscle here before they actually have lost the fat. It is one of the best exercises to do, because it stabilises the whole hip, it strengthens up those muscles. Because as we get older, one of the problems we've got is hip fractures and things like that, and hip replacements, all that sort of thing. But if we look after these muscles that are actually supporting that hip, it makes sense, doesn't it? That actually helps support the joint that's supporting us. So these exercises are very good for looking after our physical shape, but also very functional to look after actually our bone density. So when we're looking at osteoporosis, okay? So that's the lunge. What we'll just do a couple more to show everyone, make sure we've got correct technique. So I'll just get you to do a couple up, Marcel, and then we'll come back and do another couple. Beautiful. So straight down, excellent. Bending that back leg, excellent. Come up. Oh, a bit wobbly. Now that's the thing too. Sometimes we need the legs just a little bit wider. The closer the feet are together, the more it might be unstable. So big step out. Nice confident step. Wonderful. Okay. Great. Now you can take your hands off your hips as well, Marcel. Sometimes we use them as support. We don't want to do that. Great. Excellent. Thank you. That's great technique.
My pleasure.
All right. Now the one that, especially when you've got limited space, would be a squat. Come over here, Marcel. We're going to do a squat now. It's not the most elegant. So, and most women don't like doing it. So I'm just wondering the angle we need to show this one at. Let's both face this way.
Yes.
You face this way with me. Now the most important is feet are going to be hip distance apart. Now I'm tall, so I've got long levers, so I tend to go out a little bit wider, but you don't necessarily want to go way out here. Once again, we're working this muscle group around here. So if you're just a little bit more than hip distance apart, you can face your toes out a little bit, but more than you want them more straight ahead. And once again, the most important thing, when we start to sit down, we want that knee to stay behind that back toe.
Yep.
Now, you've done a squat before, so while you do it, I'm actually going to make sure we can have that technique. So the same principle will be looking straight ahead. As soon as you look down, you stick your butt out. And that's not the exercise. We're not one of those dolls that goes into the water. We're not doing that. All right, so you want to look straight ahead, shoulder blades back, tuck your lower abdominal in. All right, so just you're going to squat, and I'm just going to remind you to bend from here. Okay, down you go, Marcel. Stick that bottom out, beautiful, and come back up and squeeze your butt. All right, because this is the muscle we're working on here. Okay, so down again, and bend, and squeeze, come back up. Now the weight is actually going to be on the heels. So when you actually go back, you can almost lift your toes up. Yeah. So all the weight is in the heels. If you have them in the front, then that's when you've got the chance of your knees coming over. And that's where people can actually get sore knees and cause that injury. So when I hear people saying, oh, I can't do squats because I get sore knees, it really is, have they been shown how to do it correctly? So your squat is one of the best exercises. Now you could put a weight bar on your shoulders, and that would actually add more weight. But if the average person, I don't want to ask you how much you weigh, but I know you've lost a lot of weight, but say if the average person weighs 70 kilos, then 70 kilos is what you're actually putting on those muscles, which is quite a lot, isn't it? It's good, all right? So what you can do is I actually will do this and keep on doing it for a minute. Now, by the end of maybe 40 seconds, your legs start to shake. And a lot of people will give up. But the more we can push past and actually feel that shake, and then at the end, have you ever done the squat hold?
Yes.
All right, we're going to do the squat hold, all right? So down we go, all right, down we go, and hold. Now making sure you hold your tummy in, hold it, hold it. Now if you can hold this for about a minute, awesome. Now the leg's going to start to shake. And then you can even do this against the wall, all right? And you hold it, a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower, lower. All right, come up, squeeze your butt. Beautiful, great technique. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so you can then add to that, you could do a jump squat. Okay, to give more movement, but even just doing a functional squat is enough. Then there's things like what we call a sumo squat. Okay, so let's do the sumo squat. Okay. And what this is going to do is actually show, working inside of the thigh. You know how we get older? I know you're only 20, but that's just, you sort of get this flavouriness. You get the flavouriness in the arms, but you get this. Honestly, I'm a gynoid. All right. Okay. So a gynoid body shape is more pear shaped. Now I know people might look at me and go, "Well, she hasn't got a pear shape." Well, I did, but I've managed to change it through different exercise and different eating. I used to be addicted to sugar. I used to eat all the wrong things, emotional eater, and I used to just run all the time, so I didn't actually build muscle. But gynoid's the best exercise, actually weight bearing. Now you're a little android, not a Martian. Android's a bit more stocky, very quite athletic. And what will happen when you start doing weights, you'll actually bulk up. You'll actually gain. Have you found that?
Yes, I put on much more muscle than I thought I could.
Yes, and some women will get a bit fearful of that.
Yes.
As a gynoids they can be quite feminine. They're classified as smaller waist and curvy, and the fear of them gaining muscle is quite fearful because they don't want to be masculine.
Yeah.
And in android, a lot of women go, well, I want to lose weight, but it's very hard to lose this abdominal weight.
Yeah.
So that's where good strength training, good higher weights can help, but more repetition rather than high weights, because otherwise you might gain too much muscle and get too angular, which I don't think you probably want.
No.
So when I'm talking about this sumo squat, for me, what I would probably do is use a kettle, which is like a weight and it's got a handle on it, or you can use a dumbbell, or you can put a bar on, which will give me more weight to help me build more lean muscle. Now for you, Marcel, you might think, well, I don't want to necessarily add more weight because I'm quite happy with, because you naturally will build that muscle. So your own body weight will probably be enough. Or if you're going to do it, we just do more reps. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. So with your sumo squat, your feet actually go out a little bit and feet a little bit wider apart. Beautiful. So just turn that toe out a little bit further. So when you go down, the same thing, you want to stick your butt out, but you'll find you're working these muscles here. So we go down. So if I was holding a bell, I'd have it here, but make sure once again we're looking straight ahead, shoulder blades back, and come back up and squeeze that butt, and you'll really feel it on inside of the thigh and the butt. Okay, so let's do a couple. Okay, so down and then squeeze it coming back up, and again down, squeeze it up. One more, just for good measure. Okay, down and squeeze it. Okay, so that is really good. That's excellent. Okay, so once again you've got good technique. You're looking straight ahead, which means your posture and everything is alignment. All right. Now, when you had more weight, I couldn't imagine you'd feel comfortable doing some of these exercises.
I was hopeless.
But do you believe it's more that there's no way your body could have moved that way? So that's why you felt hopeless?
Yes.
Can you explain
yes.
that? Yeah.
So I started with walking and started with very simple exercises, and it did take me a while to learn how to lunge and how to do the lunge squats and the sumo squats, and to remember to keep the spine straight and how to move your feet and how to do that. So it's all coordination and it's practice, and there were a lot of silly moments, but it was fun.
I think that's called growing and learning.
And challenging ourselves and learning something new. So,
but you're getting reacquainted with your body.
Yes.
And when you're overweight, it's like you've got all this covering on it, so you never really got that feeling of what these muscles are in here.
So it was learning how to move your body again, and and really sort of persisting with that, and it was fun. It was great.
Good stuff. You did so well.
Thank you.
So the lunges we've talked about, the squats, are all very good to looking after the lower body. They're keeping the alignment. So a lot of people think, well, you know, it's not really working the upper body. If we were doing a lunge, I suppose we could have shown this before. If you were doing a lunge, what you could do is have some hand weights and twist.
Okay.
Okay, so what you're actually doing is just some, actually we've got some weights over here.
Sure.
So what I might do is get you to take a couple of steps. We might start this side, Marcel.
Okay.
Turn around. And these are only a couple of kilo. 1.3. Here we go. Oh, actually, the other way. Beautiful. So when you're holding weights, I see a lot of people going for walks and actually physically holding the weights.
Yes.
I don't personally like that, because what happens is when you've got pressure on your hands, you can actually get build up high blood pressure, and you need that circulation. So when we're walking, we need that movement of our hands like that. So I'd rather, there used to be some, I don't know if you can still get them, hand weights where they had a strap there, so you can actually let your hands go free. So when we're walking, a lot of people do the hand weights, but I'd encourage not to, unless you can let your hand go free. So with this exercise, what we're going to do is take a big step out and hold your arm at right angles, so everything's supported. Any exercise we do, we want the support of the whole body, so there's no risk of injury. And then when you're moving, your eyes are just going to go to the side and then all the way around to the other side. So what we're doing is activating the core and actually encouraging the upper body to work as well. Okay, so let's take a couple of steps out. straight down, and then you turn, and turn the other way. Beautiful. Another big step out. Straight down, awesome, and turn. Keep that shoulder blade thin, beautiful. One more. Okay, you'll notice Marcel's knees bent, nothing's going over the toe, and everything is in alignment. Beautiful, excellent, easy. So we've got that one. We can put those weights down now. I think we've shown everyone that. So what we'll do now is maybe we'll work on more core strength, because that's so important, because as we have weight, there's a really risk of back injuries.
Yes.
How was your back when you were overweight?
Oh, I had back pain all the time when I was overweight.
Do you have any problems now?
No, haven't had any.
Look at that tummy, hey? Okay. So once again, we're looking at exercises that are giving you aesthetic appeal, but also are so important for actually holding us together functionally. And a lot of people don't realise is that if you're saggy and baggy on the outside, you're actually going to be saggy and baggy on the inside, which means it's going to make it a lot harder for your digestion to work. So for an android type as well, when you're carrying more weight here, and even for a gynoid, which is more estrogen dominance, their fat cells are sort of larger and sort of a lot of their congestion will be lower abdominal. Lymphatics, they sort of tend to carry their weight all over. And unfortunately for lymphatics, they tend to just look at food and they'll put the weight on. So they'll have thicker wrists and ankles. And the weights we're talking about here, the exercises we have done, are very good for them as well.
Great.
Okay, and it's any coordination movements that's really, really important. And the thyroids, doing things slower, because thyroid types tend to work a bit faster. I've got a little bit of thyroid in me, so they'll tend to do exercise very fast, so we have to slow them down to make sure they've got good technique, which I think we've shown them. Good. So what we'll do now is set up the mats, and we'll do some core work. All right, Marcel, we're going to work core strength. Now, core strength, I imagine, a couple of years ago, would not be your strength at all.
It's terrible, really terrible, very weak.
Okay, so that impact on your life, I would imagine, with back problems. Okay, what else did it impact with?
Shoulder pain, back pain, neck pain, migraines.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. And the trouble is, often we don't know what we don't know. So if we've never experienced what it's like, we don't know what we're missing. So core strength, it's a scary one because it is the centre of our body. And if that is strong, it helps support our back. It also supports a lot of our internal organs. For all body types, it's super important. So all the exercises we're going to do now, it doesn't matter what body type they will be. Everyone needs that core strength. Now, if someone has got back problem, what we're going to do is really make sure you take it easy. So the exercises we're demonstrating, we'll try and tailor it to whatever the level they are. And now you'll know what you experienced when you first started. So I'd like you to share what sort of level you feel comfortable with. Sure. And then if we need to show another level, we can do that.
Good.
Right?
Sounds
now,
good.
with any core work, we're working the front, but we don't want to forget the back. So with any range of motion, we want to make sure we're getting balance in the body, so we're supporting it, so we're not overworking. What a lot of people do with core is they'll do lots of crunches. And they'll do all these crunches, and what it does is actually tighten up the muscles. And you notice a lot of some people who do a lot, they'll actually get hunched over, which means these muscles are getting too tight. So we need to actually stretch out the back, not stretch out the back, but work on the back muscles to actually get that length. So you want to actually get them strong but lean and flexible. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Beautiful. So if you hadn't, you've gone for a walk and you could decide that maybe when you got home, you'd do maybe 10 minutes of your core work. So you've got home, you're warmed up, but just in case you're not fully warmed up, the first exercise we're going to do is going to be the bicycle. Okay. All right, so this is going to work the abdominal. Each time we're working the core, we're always very conscious of pulling the pelvic area up and activating the deep muscles within. Now, when we're overweight, we haven't used these muscles before. It's like, you want me to connect what? Because they haven't had to work before. Is that right?
That's
okay.
Right.
So what we have to do is try and imagine it. You might be trying to hold a wee. So I don't want to go the loose here. Those sort of muscles and pull the pelvis up. So if we can sort of start from that, and then we find, like everything, each step we evolve, we can do that a little bit more. All right, so we're going to start lying on our back. And I want you to pull your knees up and just support your head. You're not yanking on your neck, you're supporting your neck, and your arms are going to be out. Beautiful. So you're just going to bring your head up off the floor, just support your neck. Now extend your right leg out and flex your foot, okay? The core is activated, so you're pushing your lower back against the mat, and then I want you to lift your shoulder area and twist to the opposite knee. Then we're going to bring our knees in and tuck your pelvis, lift it up, and then do the other side. Okay, extend that left leg right out and up. Okay, so this leg is coming up. Okay, now swap to the other side. Tuck first, that's it, and then bring that other knee over, arm over. Beautiful. And just do one more on the other side. That's it. Beautiful. Okay, so this one we're doing it very slow. We're using the core, but we're also making the legs work by flexing the foot. So this is where you're feeling it.
In my tummy, and also the stretch through the back of the legs.
Nice. Okay. All right. Now we're going to take out the middle pause and just go right to left now, but with that same pulling up the lower pelvic area. Beautiful. Now you could do maybe 20 to 50 and have a break, and then do another 20 to 50 depending on your level. All right. Okay, so that's helping to work, and that's sort of, because we're sort of moving the body, it's actually getting the blood flowing. All right. Now another good exercise to do while we're here is a V-sit. All right, now this one's a bit tricky because as soon as we extend our legs right out, it can put a lot of strain on the back, and people think, well, I can't do that. But what we're going to do is actually hold this. Now, if you've never done this before, the body's going to go, oh, where am I going? And you have to find out where your point is. So if you just start off with pulling, the main important thing is pulling up through a lower core. So once again, if those muscles aren't strong, it might be a bit tricky. So exactly where your hands are, you can put your hands just to support you until you get that brain-body connection. All right? So your legs are there, and then I want you to extend them. Bring them in. Extend them. Bring them in. Good. Extend them. Now you can take your hands away, but if you don't feel comfortable, you leave your hands there. Excellent. Good girl. All right. Okay. Did you feel that in your back at all?
No.
Beautiful.
But I felt it in my tummy.
Good.
Yeah.
So if you feel that in your back, you've got to stop. All right. But most important thing, if you start extending the legs and that hurts, then don't. Just don't. You just do your level, and then you find the body will actually get there at its own pace. All right. Now, I'm going to show another one. It's called a leg drop.
Yes.
Now, we were playing around with this before. And Marcel was not too sure, but I'd like to show because it is another one that's good for the brain to actually work.
Sure.
But make sure we have to get the core working. So this one is lying on the back, legs go straight up, and the body comes up, and arms are just directly beside. I'm going to drop my legs down, and I'm going to hold them about 3/4 of the way down for about 5. 3, 4, 5, and a little bit further now. I'm conscious of holding my back against the back of the mat, and then a little bit off the floor, and hold. 3, 4. Now you can see I'm shaking. It's working. And then you drop it down. Now you wouldn't do that if you've got a weak back, but you could do it, I suppose, with bent legs, but it wouldn't be as effective. But once you get your level of your core stability up, that's something maybe in a few months you could actually try.
Yeah.
You just know that challenge you can do for you, okay? All right, so what we're going to do is we'll flip you over, we'll do some core work, and we're going to call it a prone hold or a plank, whichever camp you come from. It's working the same muscles. All right, so flip you over.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So your legs can be apart. It's a little bit more difficult if they're straight, like right next to each other. So it doesn't matter to me, because what I'm going to get you to do next is just keep them a little bit further apart.
Yeah.
You're on your elbows, and what we're going to do is you're going to lift up from your stomach. And the most important thing is having a straight line. Now what I want you to do is drop down your hips. A lot of people will do this and you'll get a lot of backache, all right? And then I want you to take your hips. And then some people do this and they've got their butt up in the air. All right, so come back down. This is why it is so important to see a personal trainer, to make sure you've got correct technique so you can actually feel what it's like in your body. So that is excellent. You can see the straight line, the whole core is working. So we're not worried about just doing crunches, working one little aspect. We're actually getting everything working together in a nice elongated way. She's actually pushing through her feet. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is lift up your right foot. And what this does is actually tell the body, oh, I need to stabilise in a different way. So it's actually sending a different message down through the body and actually to get that work. Now, some people, and I'm like Marcel as well, as soon as we lift our leg up, we'll find that some muscles are tighter than others and the body will start to twist. So once again, I'll get you to lift that right leg up. Okay, the left leg's fine. Okay, no, left leg's fine. And you can see if she gets it too high, your body starts to twist. So I'm going to get you to drop it down a bit. So even that is enough. All right? So once again, we want good technique. We don't want to just throw our legs and arms around. So drop it down. Okay, how are you going there? I reckon you can hold it for about 5 minutes. We've only been a couple of minutes so far, Marcel. So watch, as we get tighter, the body might start to sag. So make sure you lift that up, not that you're sagging. Keep that firm. But if you find that your back starts to ache, drop down to your knees. So what you can actually do is still work your tummy without putting that stress on your back. And you should be able to challenge this and do it for at least 1 minute. Even if you've not exercised before, definitely 30 seconds, but I think you're wussing out if you're just doing 30 seconds. So most people can do a minute, and then when you've added, you can maybe challenge each month and go up to 1.5 minutes, 2-3 minutes. But I reckon Marcel could probably do 5. She would be shaking, but she could do it, all right? But if you feel tired, you drop it down to your knees, and this is a good place to start if you haven't done it before. Okay, so mainly working the front abdominals. We want to work the sides as well on the obliques. So what we're going to do is flip to the side. Now you can stay on your elbow for this one. Yep. And what we're going to do is actually pivot off your feet and lift your hips straight up. Beautiful. Excellent. We want to lift that right up, and we want to make sure that it's all in alignment. Now, for some, this might get a bit wobbly, so you can actually put your foot out in front, and that just might help stabilise, but you're still really pushing. You know what some personal trainers do? They push down on the hip. It's all a bit nasty, but they do that. That's terrible, isn't it? All right, and you push up. Okay, so let's drop that down to your knees. So same thing, but you're actually pushing up from your knees. So once again, you may not have that stability to work the side, so you can start here. All right, have a little rest. I don't want to work out the muscle too much. All right, so rather than doing a bent elbow, what we're going to do now is actually come up on your hand. Okay. Now this is good for a lot of women especially. They do complain that their wrists are not strong. Like when we get to show push-ups, this is another one that's going to help build that strength, and especially for arthritis later in life and things like that. So once again, we're pushing up from our feet, and you're going to come right up. Really work this. So you really want to accentuate and push as hard as you can. Okay, once again, we're going to twist Marcel and just remind her what her correct alignment is. Okay, once again, she can move her foot in front if she so desires, and that is fine. Okay, great, you can come down. Good stuff. Now, I could be really cruel and say, let's do the other side, but I think we've got the idea. All right. Now to counteract, we've worked the stomach, we've given it different angles. We need to make sure we get a chance to stretch out the stomach muscles we've worked, but also to support the back. So what I'm going to get you to do is lie down on your tummy. And I'm going to get you to bring your hands back near your waist, lower waist, okay? I want to keep them as close as I can, so we don't want any butterfly wings. And great, you've got your forehead. I want to keep your forehead on the mat, because what we want here is a nice line through the back. What I want you to do is start lifting your neck and shoulders up. Okay, take a breath in. And your next breath in, I want you to lift your legs up. That's it. And hold, just keep breathing. It's most important to keep breathing. As soon as we stop breathing, it just makes all tension in the body doesn't work. Keep breathing, hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, and slowly release it down. Okay, this is very good for strengthening the back. Very good. I'll actually show another one while we're here on the back. I'm going to get you to come up on all fours. Okay. So this one here, anyone with back troubles, this is a good core work. And a lot of people think it's for the back, but it's actually good core work. Now what I'm going to get you to do is extend your left leg out and your right arm out. Once again, we're going to have to be careful that other muscles don't compensate and start to twist. So we're just going to drop that down that little bit further, okay? And I want you to really stretch out, flex those fingers, stretch out with your toe and really stretch that whole body. Now what you can do is actually bring your elbow in and knee into your tummy, crunch it in, and then extend it out again. And you can see it's just kept a line really good. So you could do a repeat of maybe 10. We won't do that to Marcel, we're just showing. But the most important thing with this one is your stability and no twisting by swinging the leg up or the arm up too high. So we'll just drop that down and let's do the other side because we don't want you to walk around lopsided. Okay, so your left arm or your right leg up. And really stretch, and then bring your elbow in and knee in, crunch it right in. Oh, it's a dodgy knee, isn't it? Okay, yeah. Okay, take it right out. Everyone's got the idea. Okay, beautiful. Okay, bring it back down. Now another one, have you heard a cat tilt?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to get you to do is take a deep breath in, and you're going to go breathe in and pull your tummy right up, and then breathe out and let it drop down. Lovely one to massage the back. Keep doing it a few times. And blow it out, that's it. Nice, nice. Another one, couple. It just feels nice. It's nice and relaxing for the back. We need to move this. As we get older, things get very rigid. So we've got to challenge the body in different ways to help it keep its flexibility, because that's a sign of youth, is actually keeping the body flexible. And that's where some of the twisting action is good. Great, thanks Marcel. Beautiful. All right, now I'm going to flip you back on your butt. And what we're going to do now is a pelvic tilt. It's not particularly glamorous, but it is awesome at working the butt. So I'll do it with you. All right, so with this one, legs, feet are hip distance apart. Once again, I want you to feel the support of the floor. So you're pushing your tummy in. Once again, you're pulling your pelvic floor up. So you're trying to hold a wee, but you're also pulling the whole pelvic area up. As you do that, you're then going to lift your pelvis up, and then there'll be action like that. Okay? And you're squeezing the butt each time. Okay, so that's it. And up, down. Now when you get to a certain, you only probably pivot it from a short angle. So we're not going up like that. It could cause too much stress to the body. Yeah. But you could, if you want to hold it, you hold it and you really squeeze your butt. This is a very good one for the gynoids especially, to sort of help stop that flabby bottom as we get older. Not that you have to worry about that, Miss Android. All right, and definitely for the lymphatic types as well. So we're going to drop it down again and sort of roll your spine down. But let's do a few pelvic tips, just short ones, okay? So up, down, squeeze your bottom, really roll the pelvis. Now what you can do, you don't have to do this, Marcel, but I'll show. You can put the legs further apart, and as you come in, you squeeze your knees together. And then what you can do is hold the knees together and go up and down. So down and up. It's a bit harder, isn't it? So there's always ways to challenge. It doesn't have to be boring, but I tell you what, this is the one that gets the butt work. All right? And I want you to hold it up there and squeeze it. And you'll feel the burn. That was an old 80s saying, feel the burn. Okay, bring it back down. And what I get you to do is just bring your knees in and just give your bottom a bit of a stretch. Okay, beautiful. Good stuff. All right. Let's work on the upper body. So once again, we've done the core. You could do your 20-minute walk and just do leg squats and lunges. And the next day you do your 20-minute walk and do your core work. Then the next day you do your 20-minute walk, and we'll do tricep dips and arm work. Who likes the flabby things? We don't want to have them, and this girl doesn't have any at all. All right, so this is a good one, upper body strength, especially for gynoids. Gynoids, they're generally smaller up top. They might have larger breasts, but they're generally smaller, not a lot of upper body strength. So this feeling of empowerment when they do a push-up is very rewarding, and it's good for self-esteem. But all body types, male, females, it's a good one for supporting all the chest muscles and helping with posture. A lot of people as they get older, this gets curved in. So with the push-up, you actually strengthen the whole chest and allows for that expansion of the chest, which is very, very good. Okie dokie, so let's flip on. Now there's a couple of different ways to do a push-up, press-up, whatever you like to call it. Where do you start from? Do you start from the floor, Marcel?
Yes, I think I do. Yes.
Okay. I start from a like a plank position. Now where Marcel's got her hands, she might be more inclined to work her triceps. So what I'm going to do is move my mat over closer, and I want you to make your hands a little bit wider. It's very important when doing push-up, we've got all the angles correctly. And once again, this is where having the guidance of a good personal trainer to show you correct technique. Once again, we've already got the experience of how the body feels when it's a good alignment. The neck, a lot of people when they get tired or start doing a push-up, their neck will go down or they'll do all sorts of things. You are better off doing maybe 2 push-ups and doing them well rather than doing 10 with bag technique. Now, Marcel is actually holding a position that is extremely strengthening for the wrists. Thank you, Marcel.
Okay.
Now, what I'm going to get her to do is go down and do a push-up. Once again, all in alignment. We have to be careful we don't drop. Now, I'm going to just get you to rest for a second, Marcel. Okay. Just let the arms have a little bit of a breather. Okay, let's get you to move your arms just out a little bit wider. Beautiful. All right. If you feel, we're going to do one on your knees. All right. Doing a full body push-up is a big challenge for the body, and most women especially will go, I can't do that. And rightly so, because the brains never have that connection. So by just what I do for some people is I actually put a towel under their hips and I'll support all their weight while they actually use the upper body movement to actually get that feeling of what it is like, and then gradually I'll take that weight away. So if you've got someone to do that for you, that is great. But if you haven't, doing it on your knees is still giving that good connection. So what we're going to do now, once again from the knees, we're going to go straight down. Beautiful. And you can see the angle of the elbows, a nice right angles. There's nothing curving, and this is a good functional exercise. And what I mean by functional, it's something that's going to help your physical body maintain good health well into your senior years. Perfect. So what Marcel is doing, she could probably do 10 of these easily, or even start off with a full body, just doing 1 or 2, and then do 10 of the knees, have a rest, and then do it again. If you do about 2 or 3 sets, that is good for the muscles, challenge them each day. And you might find you just start off with your full body, you can only do 1 or 2. Thanks for myself, sorry, I'll just talk while you just where you start. Start off with 1 or 2, then by a couple of weeks, you find you're doing 10 full body push-ups, and it feels amazing. So how did that, do you feel it here?
Yes, and certainly in the arms.
Good, okay. Yeah. So some people actually, the closer you put your arms together, will actually work the triceps. It's a bit tricky. You want to show them that, Marcel?
Yeah,
can we
sure.
do that?
Yeah.
All right. I'll just get you to do it on your knees. So once again, you can see the arms a lot closer. Now, if you want to work the triceps, you've got to make sure your arms are tucked in. It will be your automatic reflex to move it out, and people think they're working the triceps, but what they're doing is recruiting the whole shoulder muscle, and it's not working this little sucker right here. So you want to get them really close in. You can see even Marcel's doing it. Okay, come up, that's it, come up. It's a toughie, it's a toughie. All right, Danny, go again. And I'm just going to let a reminder that elbows need to be in. Okay, that's beautiful. All right, so if you want to work the triceps that way, we're going to lift your hips up. Okay, Danny, go again. No, we're going to stop because we're losing your technique, all right?
Yep.
So I prefer, Marcel actually will show another way to do the triceps, but some people want to do the push-ups that way. I prefer the wide grip, and that will actually give you much more bang for your buck for your chest, all right? Now what I'm going to do now is actually grab a chair, and we will do the tricep dips. Oh, thanks, Marcel. Marcel will grab a chair. Let's move these out of the way. Most women will complain about doing tuck shop arms. Technical term.
Yes.
So I'm going to get you. You've done a tricep dip,
yes,
and I know you can have correct technique. So I don't need to show this one. So once again, I get to sit back and take it easy. The most important. This is not the perfect chair. For this, you want to make sure if you're doing these by yourself, the chair is stable. Otherwise, you can see what I'm doing. I'm actually supporting the weight so it doesn't tip forward. Before you start even moving the body with the tricep dip, you want to be looking straight ahead. Shoulder blades are pulled in. You'll notice Marcel's hands are tucked in under her bottom. Some people will move them out, which means you've got more leverage to not work the tricep. So they're tucked under her bottom. Her knees are slightly bent. Now, I know Marcel's been doing these for a while, so I'm going to make her straighten them, which means all the weight is going to be on those triceps and then her heel. And what you're going to do is move. You want your bottom to almost graze the back of the chair. Okay, so off you go. Beautiful. And down we go. 2 more. 1 and 2. Okay, slide yourself back on the chair. That was excellent. All right. You can see the elbows were tucked in. It was slow. It was going all the way down, and you were shaking. So you're working it. Good stuff. Now, having your legs extended, that's an advanced move. Not everyone's going to do that. So what we're going to do now is show the bent knee. Now, with bent knees, you've got to be really careful, because what happens is some women will bend their knees but actually use the legs rather than the triceps. So if you're feeling it in your legs, you're using your legs, not the triceps. So let's show them correct technique. Once again, always remind yourself, before you even move anywhere, shoulder blades tucked in, looking straight ahead, tummy tucked, and you're breathing all the way down. Beautiful. Keep going down. That's it. Wonderful. You can see how Marcel's elbows are really tucked in. 1 more. Just good measure. Cruel. Okay, come back up. Good stuff. All right. And then you'll see some people put weights on their legs, all that sort of fun stuff. But if you can do, say, 3 sets of 10 tricep dips, that's going to work it, isn't it? Yeah. And then, especially if you get your legs straight out, honestly, you do these each day with your push-ups. You got it made, haven't you? Yeah. Okay. Now, there's one other exercise. We sort of haven't done a lot for the back. And what I've been trying to do here is show you exercises you can do at home. So you don't necessarily need to go to the gym. You don't need fancy equipment. If you want to add anything more onto these exercises, obviously adding weights is going to do that. But what we're going to do is actually show a bent row. It's actually working the back. And this is something you can do just using a chair at home. If you've got a bench, that's even better. So what we're going to do is get you to pop up. And we're going to flip the chair around like this now. With this one, once again, we want to make sure good technique. Now, I'm tall. Most people are not going to have to put their leg out as far. You want to make sure the body is level. Is mine? Yes. Okay? Because if my leg was up too high, then this would tilt. Okay? So I've put it down there because I've sort of a fair idea what I need to get alignment. And then we're going to get a weight. And then all we're going to do, it's not a tricep dip, it's actually bringing it up, and you're going to squeeze in between the back. So those little rhomboid muscles in between your shoulder blades. You know, notice people as they get older, they get rounded, and they often complain about backache. What we need to do is move those rhomboids, so we're really squeezing. So I'll teach you. I might go the other way. So I'll just get you to put your leg out to the side, not so like here. That's better. Okay. Just we need to drop. That's it. Okay. I'll give you a weight because you're lucky. Okay. Once again, we want this all in alignment. Remember to breathe. Squeeze in here. So all the action is coming from here. That's it. And straight up. Bend it. Beautiful. Okay. Now this weight's really light. Okay. You want to challenge the muscle. So when you know you're challenging is when you have trouble doing 10 repetitions of the exercise. So if you can do 10 very easily, you know you probably need a little bit more weight. And of course, you're going to double it. And each time I want you to squeeze in here. Beautiful. So watch we don't drop, bring that shoulder up. That's it. Okay.
Great.
We think we're done. Thank you. All right. And I want to thank you so much for being my model. That was a most wonderful job. Give me a hug. Well done. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's a pleasure.
Okay.